The disappearing chocolate mystery. In a small town, right across the park and past the old library, stood the renowned Sweet Temptations chocolate shop, owned by Mrs. Clara. The shop was the pride of the town and a favorite amongst kids and adults alike. The window displayed an array of chocolates, truffles, and other delightful confections. One Monday morning, as Mrs. Clara opened the shop, she noticed something odd. A whole tray of her signature dark chocolate truffles was missing. She was certain she had filled the tray the previous night. Distraught, she informed the town's constable, Mr. Jenkins, about the mystery. The curious case of the disappearing chocolates quickly became the talk of the town. Who would commit such a deed in a close-knit community? Mr. Jenkins began his investigation by interviewing the local kids. Timmy, a freckle-faced boy, said he had seen a shadow near the shop late at night. Lucy, the librarian's daughter, mentioned hearing a soft humming tune around the same time. Piecing the clues together, Mr. Jenkins decided to keep a watch on the shop the following night. He hid behind a tree, keeping a close eye on the entrance. Hours passed, and just as Mr. Jenkins was about to call it a night, he saw a figure approaching the shop. It was Mrs. Amelia, the town's music teacher, humming a soft tune. She unlocked the shop's door with a key and went inside. Confused, Mr. Jenkins decided to confront her. As he entered, he found Mrs. Amelia with a tray of chocolates, carefully packing them in a box. Upon seeing Mr. Jenkins, she looked startled. Mrs. Amelia hesitated for a moment before confessing. She admitted that she and Mrs. Clara had an agreement years ago. Every Sunday night, she would pick a tray of chocolates for her students as a reward for their weekly performances. In return, she would leave money in the cash register. But the previous week, she had forgotten to inform Mrs. Clara about her visit. Mr. Jenkins chuckled, realizing there was no crime. It was all a simple misunderstanding. Mrs. Amelia apologized for the confusion and promised to communicate better in the future. The town was relieved to learn that no chocolate thief was lurking in their midst. Mrs. Clara and Mrs. Amelia laughed it off and decided to collaborate on a special, musical chocolate, inspired by the whole incident. The townsfolk were treated to a new flavor, and every time someone bit into the musical chocolate, it would remind them of the light-hearted mystery that once shook their community. The Great Playground Adventure. In a town where every day seemed like any other, children found solace in their playground. This wasn't just any playground. It was vast, filled with all sorts of contraptions that spurred the imagination. There were swings that felt like flying dragons, slides that seemed like cascading waterfalls, and a sandbox that many believed led to secret underground worlds. Lila, a 10-year-old with a head full of curly hair and an imagination even bigger, was the unofficial leader of the playground adventurers. Every Saturday, she and her band of friends would embark on new, fantastical journeys, right in the heart of the playground. On one particular Saturday, Lila had a gleam in her eye. Today, she announced to her friends, Ethan and Mia, we are going to discover the lost treasure of Pirate Blackbeard, and it's hidden somewhere in this playground. Ethan, always the logical one, raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? This is just a playground. Mia, who never doubted Lila's adventures, clapped her hands excitedly. Let's start with the sandbox. It looks like a perfect spot to hide a treasure. Armed with toy shovels and buckets, the trio began to dig. Hours felt like minutes, and soon they had a small pit. Just as Ethan was about to give up, his shovel hit something hard. I found something, he exclaimed. The three gathered around and pulled out an old metal box. It was locked, but that didn't deter them. Lila remembered seeing a key hidden in a small crevice of the slide. Racing to the slide, she retrieved the key, and to their astonishment, it was a perfect fit for the lock. Inside the box, they found old coins, a feathered hat, and a map. While the coins were just chocolate, wrapped in gold foil, and the hat was a prop from last year's school play. The map was intriguing. It depicted their playground and had a trail leading to various landmarks. The trio decided to follow the map. It took them on a winding journey, from the monkey bars to the seesaw, past the jungle gym, and finally to the old oak tree at the far end of the playground. At the base of the tree, they found another box, this one filled with colorful stones and a note. The note read, "To the brave adventurers, these are not ordinary stones. They are dream stones. Keep one under your pillow, and it will give you sweet dreams." As evening approached, the children left the playground, their hearts full of the day's adventure. They realized that the treasure wasn't about gold or jewels but the joy of discovery and the magic of imagination. That night, Lila, Ethan, and Mia placed the dreamstones under their pillows. And as they drifted into sleep, they embarked on another set of wondrous adventures, this time in the realm of dreams. An afternoon at the museum. The air was filled with anticipation. School trips were always exciting, but a visit to the famed Hartsville Museum was something else entirely. With its ancient relics, breathtaking paintings, and interactive displays, it was a treasure trove for curious minds. Lucas could barely contain his enthusiasm. He'd always been fascinated by history and the stories objects could tell. Next to him, his best friend Jenny was engrossed in the museum map, planning their route. Sam, the ever-observant one in the group, was already pointing at a massive statue at the entrance. The trio made their way to the Egyptian section first. Golden masks, mummies, and hieroglyphs filled the room. Lucas was drawn to a display showcasing the process of mummification. As he read the details, he marveled at the ancient civilization's understanding of the afterlife. Jenny, on the other hand, was captivated by a beautiful necklace made of turquoise and gold. "Imagine the queen who might have worn this," she whispered, her eyes reflecting the necklace's sparkle. The next stop was the art section. Walls adorned with paintings spanning centuries caught their attention. There was a particularly mesmerizing painting of a serene landscape with a river cutting through it. The vibrant hues of the sunset, the reflection in the water, and the detailing of the trees had Sam completely engrossed. The play of light and shadow is so realistic, he remarked, taking a mental note for his next art project. As the day wore on, the friends discovered more wonders. A room dedicated to space exploration, complete with a replica of a lunar lander. A section about marine life with massive skeletons of whales suspended from the ceiling, and a hands-on science section where they could conduct small experiments. However, the highlight of their visit was the mystery room. It was a new addition to the museum and featured unsolved puzzles from history. There were displays about the Bermuda Triangle, Stonehenge, and the lost city of Atlantis. Lucas was engrossed in a puzzle board that allowed visitors to try and decipher the Voynich manuscript, a medieval book written in an unknown script. Jenny and Sam joined in, and they were soon lost in the world of codes and symbols. The afternoon sun began its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the museum. As the announcement for the museum's closing echoed, the friends, tired yet exhilarated, made their way out. They left with more than just memories. The museum had sparked a fire in them, a desire to learn, to explore, and to understand the world's mysteries. They promised to return, knowing that every visit would offer a new adventure and a chance to dive deep into the annals of history.